When I was 16, I read King Lear for the first time. In it, there is a scene that has haunted me all my life. In this most tragic of tragedies, we first see King Lear as an old father, a king, almost a god, with awesome authority, absolute power. We see him terribly demanding. Which of his daughters loves him most, he demands to know. His two older daughters profess to love him dearer than eyesight. His youngest daughter and his favorite, Cordelia, cannot heave her heart into her mouth. She can say nothing. In awful anger, Lear thunders, "Nothing can come of nothing." He curses her and disowns her. "Better thou hadst not been born than not to have pleased me better." You may remember that the two older sisters act horribly toward their father and actually throw him out in a terrible storm. The scene I remember features Lear, now a poor, infirm, weak, and despised old man, raging how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. To which Lear's fool admonishes him, "Thou should not have been old till thou hadst been wise." At 16, my goal was to avoid Lear's fate. Sadly, at 60, it appears I have missed my deadline. But if Lear can eventually get it, perhaps so can I. When I read the story of Solomon's rise to power and his prayer for wisdom, I roll my eyes. How can a man who allowed his mother to manipulate him into killing off his half-brother, his father's priests and advisors, to solidify his power, be considered wise? It is baffling that that same person, who after praying for wisdom would drain his kingdom's resources and oppress his people to build a temple that even God did not want, that this despotic ruler is promoted as the embodiment of wisdom, makes me wonder, what the hell is wisdom anyway? And how do we know our prayer for it is answered? I'll give those questions a go this morning, but given I am still seeking elusive wisdom, when I finish, I suspect none of us will be the wiser. I really do need to order from Amazon a copy of Wisdom for Dummies. Lacking that, I turned to Google. I asked it, "What the hell is wisdom anyway?" It told me. Wisdom is an ideal that has been celebrated since antiquity as the application of knowledge needed to live a good life. Beyond simply knowing or understanding what options are available, wisdom provides the ability to differentiate between them and choose the one that is best. I said, fine, but how do we become wise? It told me, that depends on the various wisdom schools and traditions claiming to help foster it. Oh, thanks a lot. That's helpful. But what do we need to achieve it? Google answered, various combinations of the following: knowledge, understanding, experience, discretion, and intuitive understanding, along with a capacity to apply these qualities well towards finding solutions to problems. Since that was not as helpful as I might have hoped, it occurred to me that maybe I was asking the wrong question. If the wisdom of Solomon was bankrupt, maybe I should ask about the wisdom of Jesus. The Google Oracle only gave me 600,000 hits, a small number by Google standards. Apparently, wisdom is not often ascribed to Jesus. But the first item listed was a book entitled The Wisdom Jesus. It had a familiar ring to it. Where have I heard that before? I looked to the left of my computer, and on top of a pile of things to do and read was the very same book by Cynthia Bourgeault. Could it be a sign? Wisely, I thought maybe I should at least skim it. I tried, but it was so engrossing I couldn't put it down. There is too much wisdom in it to be shared in one sermon. Even Cynthia could not articulate it all in the one talk she gave here not so long ago. Let me just say it offers a key to unlocking the wisdom of the centuries. If only Kings Lear and Solomon had read it as young men. If only I had. Her premise in the book is that Jesus was a wisdom teacher. With our 2020 hindsight, we have trouble seeing this. Not just because he did not live his life very wisely by our standards. He didn't keep good company. He was something of a party animal. He was shiftless and unemployed, moving from town to town. He was extravagant and a chartered accountant's worst nightmare, telling his followers not to store up treasures for tomorrow. He defied authority and recklessly crossed boundaries. Eventually, he even gambled his life, choosing not to cling to it, but rather to squander it. As a result, we fail to see his wisdom, but rather his love and compassion. We see him primarily as our Savior. He did it all, and we need do nothing but receive his gift. Bourgeault points out that our understanding of him has been shaped by only one of four streams of Christianity: Roman law, order, and hierarchy shaped our theology. But there are three other streams that see Jesus not as our Savior, but as our teacher. They are all Eastern in flavor, and they all focus on the wisdom of Jesus instead of his being a Savior. Aramaic doesn't even have a word for salvation. For them, Jesus was a master of consciousness, seeking to raise our consciousness. Cynthia explains this in a way that even this geek priest can understand it. She argues that every human being is born with a level of consciousness. She equates it to a computer's operating system. It's probably not Microsoft's. It works. It was not installed broken. However, it operates like all computers. It is dualistic in nature. Have you ever wondered what a computer byte is? It's either a 1 or a 0. Those are the only two choices. A program has millions of such bytes. It is that dualism that is similar to our human operating system. We were born to see the world dualistically. It is either a 1 or a 0. We operate by either or. It is up or down, black or white, before or after, good or bad, right or wrong, cold or hot.